Oh God. Shoot. Ah. Aha. Is everything alright? Cause I'm an idiot. Oh God, and I saw it in the stream. Oh God. Why am I like this? Hello. No. Let me actually start this stream properly. Let me start it. Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream where I'll be reading fanfiction, as you probably guess. Oh yes, I know. Fanfiction? Really? Fanfiction? Really? Well, fanfiction's good though. Let me turn up the music. Is it too loud though? Can you actually hear me? I'm actually going to check just a second. Yeah, okay, yes, you can hear me. Who kind of, it's a Yuri on ice. We're reading Yuri on ice. It's called How the, wait, is it actually called, How the Mighty Fall in Love by Braveten. It's a Yuri on ice fanfiction. So, wait. Okay, no, wait. Everything is sort of like, for hopefully going as it's supposed to be. Sounds probably shit. I don't actually have a problem with microphone, so fuck that bullshit. Am I right? Okay. Yes, everything is as it should be. I'm just gonna yeet this music and add some quiet, crackling fireplace nonsense. While I'm doing that, please go and get some water, hot cocoa. Put this in the background of whatever the fuck you want, cause I'll be reading. Yeah, that's fine, Cloudy. That's fine. It's okay. But like I said, I'll be just, giving you some time to get something, get comfy, and put this in the background of whatever the fuck you were doing before I quietly disturbed you. Let's show it's not too loud. I think actually I can have it full on because this is actually not that loud. It should be fine. It should be fine. Okay, are you ready? Let's just get me. Okay. Oh yeah, Cloudy. You're the best, Cloudy. You are the best. I'm gonna find it, and let's get this vote started. So, how the mighty fallen off by Braveten. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Detroit. Every Nickerfowl fan has 3 things in common. They have unrealistic expectation for romance. 2, they mark their calendars with the dates of his newest book releases and the premieres of his latest movie adaptations. 3, they either passionately hate or love his greatest rival and mysterious author whose pseudonym is only 2 letters, KY. Ironically, every KY fan shares these same 3 traits. Again, Victor hisses, refreshing Twitter for the up-10th time, because surely this cannot be happening. He announced the release of his next novel only yesterday, and of course KY had chosen the day to announce his release of his next novel. Fans are already scrambling to decide which book to pre-order and writing Twitter rants that are hardly viable with a 140 character limit. Yakov peers at Victor's computer screen. Yakov's publishing office is small but effective. There are few dozen employees under his supervision. Yuri Pilsinski interns there, and is often one of the first people to read over the rough drafts of Victor's novels. His negative thought on Doucette romance are well known to all, but Victor generally appreciates the objective opinions. Right now, though, Yuri is sneaking from in front of Yakov's desk, legs propped up on it as he reclines in a chair. He is chewing a vat of bubble gum. Victor figures he must be munching on at least 5 pieces and watching them amused. Is something funny? Victor inquires, pinching the bridge of his nose. Yuri shrugs. Do you think KY is sitting at his computer right now, thinking the exact same thing that you are? Yakov spares the blood a glance. Victor looks at him too. The intern shifts, seeming to reveal in the response. Think about it. It's not like KY chooses to announce his books on the day of. I'm sure it's a planned out thing. So it's just unfortunate irony. I bet he's just annoyed about you two doofuses planning your release for mid-March, as you about him planning his release. They both stare at him for an instant, and then Victor huffs, turning back to his computer screen. He pulls up the Facebook comments on his last post. How will I decide which book to buy? Why do they keep doing this, lol? He tries to dampen the urge to respond with simply, buy my book. Of course this happened. Of course. It happens every single time, without fail. At this point, countless fans have accused him of coordinating their book releases to maximize profits. KY has been silent on the matter, as he is on every matter, because nobody knows who the hell he is. Victor has met his publisher before, a man named Kilstand. I'm so sorry for butchering this. Constancio. I'm sorry. Oh god. Jaco and him are old friends, but even Castano won't release any information about his prize offer. Victor, on the other hand, takes photos, does interviews, attends movie premieres. Emma Stone has been in his last movie adaptation, for crying out loud. But nobody even knows KY's preferred pronouns. Victor always thought of him as him. You're not sure why? In fact, wherever people address KY as any big butt, it throws him up for a second. He licks his lips as he scrolls down. The official announcement of KY's novel, custody of Costanzo's publishing company's Facebook page, is there. Victor clicks up on it. He reads the summary of his rival's upcoming novel, History Maker. If you know the reference, you know the reference. History Maker. Nice. Marcus Lloyd has, for as long as he can remember, loved the ice. He feels like second home to him, even as he collapses to it, fingers splayed after his failure at the Grand Prix final. Can Mystery find unpredictable world champion, lead him to love and victory? I think that sounds cheesy, Yuri mutters. Yuri has a limited edition collection of all KY's novels hidden under his bed. Victor knows that, but Yuri doesn't know that. I'm sorry. Victor knows that, but Yuri doesn't know that Victor knows that. So he keeps his mouth shut. He's saving that knowledge for a special occasion. Besides, Victor too owns every KY novel, purely to research his competition. purely for research, he had told himself as he cried over the last one, titled Unlost Eros. Purely for research, he had told himself as he driven to the nearest Walmart to buy 5 more boxes of tissues and clung to his dog for the rest of the night. Think about the character development and the plot and the perfection description and oh. Give me a second. I'm so sorry for that. That was kind of awkward. Not gonna lie. Jesus Christ, man. I guess this happens. Well, come on. I'm going to. Where do I come from? Purely for research. So he's writing about figure skating, Victor muses, shutting his eyes. Why hadn't he thought of that first? Yaakov seems to be able to read his thoughts, touching his shoulder and often offering a sympathetic smile. You outsell him, Virgia. I didn't last year. This one is a seller, I can tell. Victor's newest novel is entitled Stammy Fictional, or alternatively, Stay Close to Me. It's about a man who's lost in life, aimless, and meets somebody at a party who changes his life for the better. It's fantastical, a touch unrealistic, but Victor figures perhaps that is why it seems to come straight from the heart. Either way, he can't deal with this right now. He has a book signing for his last novel, Fragile as Ice Tomorrow. It's in a large library in Detroit. It's a large library in Detroit, of all places, and it needs to be, and it needs to be there tomorrow morning. Therefore, he doesn't really have time to dwell on Kay Wright's incredibly summary, which is still chilling Victor's heart. It may have been cheesy, as you will imply, but everyone is all too aware of Chaos' ability to spin emotions out of words to make characters come to life. Victor heads back to his apartment, throws his suitcase on his bed, and begins haphazardly tossing clothes and items into it. This book signing is a large one. I'm lost. This book signing is a large one. He's already anticipating his cramped hand. He has a lot of love of meeting fans. Yes, but this love is also at war with his never-ending fear of carpal tunnel. First, he packs a small notebook. It's black, filled to the brim with sticky notes and ideas. Yuri, who had flipped through it once, had commented that it looked like a monkey. What a monkey would write if he were trapped in a box and giving nothing but pens and paper. Then he packs his trusty laptop for heavy-duty writing. Victor always write in monospace, nothing but monospace. 12 point font, double spaced. He wonders briefly how KY writes. Then he moves on. He walks to his bookshelf. The flight is 15 hours. So he needs to stock up on books and movies. And a familiar internal war occurs, resulting from the fact that half of his books occupying himself happen to run by his arch nemesis, the man who overshadows his every book release, every movie adaptation,
who never comes out into the public and never comments on Victor. He blogs Stay by My Side by KY Official, one of his favorites, purely for research. But the moment is in his hands. He can't wait until the page, so he sits down, cross-legged on his bed, opening the worn-torn pages and starting with chapter 1. He exhales. He can help. Oop. He exhales. He can't help the smile that works its way onto his lip. The way that KY described this thing is melodic, relaxing in a way that Victor strives for his own writing to emulate. It's as though the reader is captivated, is there with him, as thought one is reading about general experiences instead of just a fantasy. Somehow, along the way, KY managed to make readers fall in love with the characters. Victor feels for the protagonist, his friends, his romantic interests, lets himself be devoured by the world that the author had spun. He has read this book several times before, but he managed to notice new things each time. Easter eggs or little bits of dialogue that hadn't stuck out to him the first time around. He finishes that night at 3 in the morning. So much for reading it on the plane. Victor groans and rolls out of bed. It's 7 in the morning, and he still hasn't showered. His flight is in 1 hour. What a terrible, terrible idea. Yet he regrets nothing. He grabs his clothes off his suitcase, revealing that tempting edge of his laptop. He pauses, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. After a brief hesitation, he picks his laptop up. He sets the clothes on top of his suitcase and opens the device, settling on the floor with his back against the edge of the bed, not wanting to fall asleep again by accident. The screen is ridiculously luminous, and he winces, lowering the brightness setting immediately. Victor enjoys reading. Perhaps that's inevitable, as he's an author himself. Therefore, he has two blogs for it. Firstly, this is a Fleischer blog. He posts comprehensive reviews of novels written by colleagues and strangers, answering fan questions, and posing his thought carefully, using proper grammar. He reads every post once, twice, 3 times before sending out to the world for his fans to properly devour. And then the second blog, KY Fan 1990 or 1990. Yeah. It doesn't have to explain, like, really. Sorry. Oh god. It doesn't have an explanation, really. The blog, suffice to say, has a dramatic drop in poise. Either way, he logs onto it now. He writes a long rant about how he just rereads Stay by My Side, listening thoughts about the character, the plot, the writing. His favorite part about he cannot fathom living in a life without having read this novel. KY 1990 has 2,000 followers. Not bad, Victor thinks. However, he's not in for the never has been. No. This blog is really for his own personal pleasure. The moment he hits post, the replies start piling up. There are people squealing along with him, and he starts typing out responses, no longer paying attention at all the time. He finds himself grinning as he discusses character, why they've done what they've done at the end of the novel, how KY has done so perfectly crafted their story around the central theme of intimacy. One comment in particular is like a pebble stuck in a shoe. It's not a noise, necessarily, but a constant present that is always prominent, that doesn't seem to disappear no matter how hard one shakes. He has seen it before, of course, plenty of times, daily at this point, if not hourly. Who do you think they are? He blinks, fingers drifting across the keys. Normally, words come easily to him, but now he licks just his lips. Thinks, who is KY? It's obviously something he has thought of countless times before, something he has pondered over. He imagines a nice smile. That's the easy part to picture for some reason. The rest he isn't sure about. Attractive? Obviously. What sort of attractive? Victor isn't sure. But he bets he's beautiful in the same way that his mind is beautiful. In the way that he crafts scenes and artfully blinds character from reality. Not fantasy. In the way that he's an artisan, melding and mixing and creating pure escapism. Victor ponders who KY is, yes, but he doesn't ponder his response to the great comment. I think he's a genius. He his pause, then goes to shower. Victor almost misses his flight. A few fans stop him at the airport, and he takes a hurried low-quality selfies with them before making his way onto the plane. Sweat is evident on his forehead. The lady beside him on the plane is trapped in her own little world. A pink neck pillow behind her head, and earphones plugged into her ears. Some sort of movie is playing in front of her. He puts his backpack underneath the seat in front of him, reaches down, and pulls out a dream too large to be alone. For a second, he glances around, self-conscious, because it's hard to explain press photos of Victor Nikiforov reading his arch-enemy's novel on a plane trip. But within minutes, he's devouring by the colossal pages, worn and torn with love and admiration. When he takes a break, he pulls off his laptop, stares at his current work in progress. It's good, but it's not as good as KI's content. Victor's writing has good dialogue, solid description, but that's just it. It's normal, expected. KY always managed to surprise him. Detroit is cold. That's his first impression anyway. It occurs to him briefly that Castano's publishing office is somewhere in this city. He wonders if that means that KY lives here too. Pushing that thought away, he heads to the baggage claim, searching for his dark blue suitcase until it comes whirling around. Victor grabs it and plops it down on the ground, scanning the crowd of drivers for a sign with his own name on it. The man's holding a sign reading Nikiforov on it. And it turns out he's a fan, too, so practically gushes about Victor's works during the entire ride. Victor doesn't mind, though. He's used to the attraction, takes the compliment in his grand stride, gives him a few details about his upcoming work. He calls them exclusive details, but really said exclusive details are given to anyone and everyone who asks. A marketing strategy of some sorts. Victor heads into the hotel, finds his room and lays down in bed instantly. He's been here 5 minutes and he's already exhausted. Then again, long flights have never failed to suck the life out of him. He yawns, pulling out his laptop and checking the activity feed for KY Fan 1990. Once again, there's particularly about a dozen new comments. One in particular stands out to him. Have you read any of Victor Nikiforov's stuff? He's got messages like these before. Deletes it. The last thing he wants to talk about on this blog is himself. No, this blog is dedicated entirely and unashamedly to KY. And that's that. So he responds to the other messages, droning on and on and on about the protagonist's best friend and stay by my side. Before he leaves for the book signings, he logs out of the blog. As is his tradition, the last thing he wants is somebody to trace his guilty pleasure account back to him. Then it's off. He hadn't brought marketing to Detroit. as the plane ride is too much trouble for the poodle. But he knows that Yakko and Yuri are taking good care of him back home. He wears formal attire to the book signing, a black suit jacket, pants matched with a white dress shirt, and a ribbon and floral tie. There are silver cufflinks that glitter in the sunlight, and as he walks he can see eyes turn to them. There is whistling and cheering as he enters the large library, as he waves to everyone, flashing his best smile. Row after row of individuals waiting to meet him makes his heart giddy, and he sits down at the table, sharpie in hand. He's kind to each fan, greets them, and takes photos with them. According to his security, he's not supposed to give hugs. It wastes too much time, but he does anyway. Its most common demographic are people in the early 20s, yet there's a lot of range at the signing, some younger, some older. It's a good time overall. People smiling and meeting and sharing the love of Victor's novels. His hand hurts, but in the best way possible. And then it's over. So he clicks his pen, stretching out his aching bones. The owner of the library is speaking to him at a million miles per hour, gushing about this and that and this and that, and Victor just smiles, standing up and throwing his suit jacket over his shoulder. He's turning a corner toward the exit of the building when suddenly someone else is turning the corner in the opposite direction. Hurried. There's a collision, but Victor doesn't fall, just lands against the wall with a thump. The individual who he's collided with, however, was less lucky. The man has landed on the floor, dazed. He scrambles back on his feet, wide-eyed. Victor soaks in the side of him. He's absolutely stunning. Stunning to the point where it feels like a scene from one of K.Y.'s novels. The protagonist frozen, heart pumping in the ears. The man's hair is black, especially from the impact and the cold, and his glasses are wide, framing gorgeous brown eyes. His pupils are dilated to an unbelievable degree, and he's shorter than Victor, but not by much. The breath catches in his throat. Victor hears the noise of it though it's being amplified by loudspeakers. And there's a look of realization crossing his feature, changing them, shaping them. You, the young man mumbles. Victor smiles. A fan. Another person turns the corner, then promptly plows into the young man's back. He catches him by the shoulder before he can fall, though. And then the two fans are staring at Victor in disbelief. It's not an unfamiliar scenario for Victor. It is rare, however, that he finds a fan so interesting. We woke up late, the second boy blurts, and he has dark hair too, but no glasses. His skin is tanner, his eyes are light. Unlike the first boy, he appears confident, though just as surprised. I'm really sorry. Victor blinks. The first man, the shy of the two, hides behind his friend, looking as he has just seen a ghost. The second man, the one who had spoken, is chewing the inside of his cheek. Victor glances back towards the security guards who are giving disapproving looks and reaches out for a copy of his book in the first man's hands. I don't mind giving two more signatures. The second man turns to the man with glasses, who is blushing violently now, holding his book in his death grip as he excitedly extends it towards Victor. After Victor has signed the first book, the friend gives him a copy, and he signs that too. The names are Pinchit and Yuri. It takes more time than usual, writing his tales, usual XX Victor. We love your books, the one man Pinchit says, making casual conversation. Victor glares at him, then seems to notice that Victor has seen, so he smiles instead, the shock barely concealed behind caramel irises. Yeah, I'm sort of a big fan. I'm flattered, Victor responds, and gives Yuri a wink. Oh god. I'm going to
take a break as I need a break right now. So, yeet. Go take a break yourself. Go to the toilet, whatever. I don't know. But remember to take a break. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. The only thing you need to know is my stomach just fine. Actually, I'm fine. I'm just I have to check some shit. That's about mostly. Also mostly about how my like stomach. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm kind of like cold in 1 hour. I'm going to try to read this chapter. Like done. But if I cannot, then I'm really extremely fucking sorry. But I'm actually in this moment not feeling my absolute best. At least my stomach has said fuck you, biatch. And so okay, no one said that was that annoying. Holy shit. Okay, so there. Okay, there, there, there. I'm so I just had to take just sound. Jesus Christ. Okay, give me just another minute. Hello. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. Right now. Okay. So it doesn't sound that bad. Okay. Okay. There. It doesn't sound that bad anymore. Yeet. I just really like the background music. I just turned that off. Oh my god, I'm an idiot! I am an idiot, motherfucker. Scheiße, man. Okay, back to fucking reading. That was here for, you know. So back to reading, and like I said, I'm going to try to read this chapter done, this researcher in total, but I'm not feeling the best, at least my stomach is not. So give me grace, give me luck, and everything in between. Yeet. Yuri burst catches, his eyes immediately glued back to the book, and Victor finds it absolutely adorable. My favorite part was the ending, Pinchit says, shutting his way to the balls of his feet. I really loved the way you tied all of the plot points together. It was like there was so much going on in the novel, so much that I forgot certain things was happening, but it just made them so much more satisfying. You could tell it was well thought out. Victor smiles, adjusting his floral tie an explosion of pinks and yellows and soft oranges. But then, to his surprise, Yuri speaks. It wasn't thought out. Isn't sure who's most surprised by the spontaneous comment, Victor, Pinchit, or Yuri himself. Even though one of the security guards inhaled sharply, as though anticipating Victor's aggression. What? He asked, keeping his tone curious, because that's what he is. Curious, not offended, no, because it's obvious that Yuri hadn't meant to it be offensive. It seems to have been an observation. Yuri glances around, appears to notice that everyone's attention is now focused solely on him. He's wearing a scarf, and he tucks it on with one hand, an absent-minded action. Victor supposes. In doing so, he tucks his mouth up, covering more of his mouth. I didn't mean to that it I didn't mean that like it came out. The book is great, but it's not thought out. Now Victor's attention is full captured. He raises his eyebrow and shoves his hands in the pockets and leans against the wall. What do you mean? He's blushing again, eyes glued to the library floor. I just mean, if you read it, it's obvious that you found the story along the way. Fragile as glass, it's a story about spontaneity, and I think that in writing it, you were being spontaneous too. Plot points sort of appeared out of nowhere, but it works.
because it fits the theme of the story. It's like you started with a basic idea and you explored it as you went along, but it works. There's a silence for a while. Then Yuri is pushing up his glasses and looking as though his lip is about to start bleeding with the violent way that he's biting it. Sorry, that was stupid. No, Victor mutters into incredulity. I don't know how the fuck to say that word. Sorry. Then smiles. That's your white? He is? Pinchot blurts. I didn't know where the plot was going, Victor explains. And he has never made it to anyone before. Not even Yakov, not even himself. But sort of found its way along the way. That's what I figured, Yuri replies. How'd you know? Yuri doesn't look as though he's anticipating that question. He stares and pinches long, as though he's hoping that he answer for him. He starts. I've just read it a few times. Is all. Right, Victor acknowledged. He licked his tongue. Thank you for the autographs, Yuri adds, horrified. Victor sees Pinchot suddenly touch his friend's arm, comforting. But Victor doesn't want him to leave. Have you read KY's work? He asks, trying to keep the conversation flowing. If Victor hadn't been pouring all his attention onto Yuri, he may have noticed the way that Pinchot tensed slightly, eyes flickering back and forth between them. But no. Instead, he just watches Yuri pale, licking his lip, a nervous gesture. Victor finds it endearing. KY? Yuri asks after an abnormally long pause. So long that Victor had begun to forget about it, the question. Those fragile as glass in both hands, toys with the edge of the cover. Victor watches. KY is one of the most famous authors in the world, along with Victor, of course. They're equally reputable, equally matched. Surely you heard of him, he adds. A leading question. Right, of course, Yuri blurts, nodding. KY, aren't you two? Victor waits for a second. Aren't we what? There's another pause. Pinchy clears his voice, breaking the tension. We better get going. Thanks for the autograph, Mr. Nick. Your work is admirable. Yuri makes eye contact with his friends, and Victor swears that 1,000 unspoken words will pass between them in 1/100th of a second. But then Yuri's mumbling a goodbye, and then they're both turning around, and Victor needs to do something. Something. He doesn't know why or how or what, but he needs to. Would you like to get coffee tomorrow? Hurried words spilling on top of another, like a tap with a broken grain. They both start walking synchronomally. Yuri turns around on his heel, then glances left and right, as though making sure Victor is not talking to some other fan who snuck in after his book signing. Victor flashes his best grin, trying to look inviting, and folds his hand across his chest. Say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, he chants internally, trying to will him with his eyes. Then he remembers Pinchot, mentally whines. Oh, that extends to both of you. I'm not flying back to Russia for a few days, and well, he flits his eye back to you. I would like to keep good company. Pinchot stares at Yuri for a second, puzzled, and then instantly he's smiling, tilting his head at Victor, the epitome of confidence. Sorry, I actually have a thing tomorrow morning. Yuri is free though. A thing? Yuri replies, giving his friend a look. You know, the thing. He spares a glance to Victor, apologetic, then turns back to his friend. His voice is low, but not low enough. What thing? The thing that I've been talking about for weeks now, Pinchot explains. Besides, you love coffee. Yuri starts, and it sounds like they're about to argue, but then he notices Victor again, and he's blushing hard. And then notice, and Victor thinks about writing him, thinks about all the little mannerisms he could. I'm sorry. Thinks about he perfectly fit into a normal. Okay, wait. Thinks about all the little mannerisms he could describe. Thinks about how perfectly he would fit into a novel. Doesn't know his last name. Doesn't know a single thing about him. But he knows he could write him. In fact, it's been a while since I felt pure inspiration like this. Okay, wait. I haven't noticed that. I'm sorry. Wait, there. I'm so sorry, it's like taking this long. I'm sorry. Oh god, chaos. Oh god, I'm sorry. In fact, it's been a while since he's felt pure inspiration like this. Okay, Yuri says, like he can't believe that he's saying it. Okay, I know a place, Yuri answers. He feels like he's on autopilot, body working before his mind can catch up. I'm guessing you're staying at the nearby Marriott. He nods. Yuri glances and pinch it again, as though leeching off his confidence. I can write you down the name of the place if I'll remember it. So Yuri tells him the name, and Victor remembers it. And then they're gone. And Victor grabs his bag when he gets back to his hotel room. He's grabbing for his laptop, plumping down on the wooden desk, and spinning the chair around so that he can sit. Wait. I just lost where I was. Sorry. Then he opens his work in progress, and instantly his fingers are flying over the keys, sawing, typing, creating, and it's good. He thinks. He reads over what he's done so far. Great, actually. Probably better than anything he's written in ages. Time passes. The word count grows, and he thinks of Yuri. Thinks of the mannerism, thinks of the way he strives to write realism like that, strives to bring his character to the life in the same way that Yuri is alive, full of color, and above everything else, remarkable. Victor doesn't want to write flat characters that are desperately trying to come off as round. No, he wants to write characters that jumps off the pages, characters that will beat KY cells, that will give him the other offer one for his money. Yet at the same time, as he writes, he feels like Tantalus. The fruit always too high, and the water always too low. An insatiable desire for better, more, at the tip of his tongue, glazing his every thought. He's not sure what he needs more of, but he knows he needs more of something, and he knows he can get that. Yuri's already at the coffee shop when Victor arrives. The place is filled to brim, so he's sitting at one of the taller tables. He's stacking on the stool beside him. Victor's heart does a flip when he realizes that Yuri must have been claiming the seat for him. He hurries to purchase coffee, then remembers he doesn't drink coffee, so he stares at the menu, unsure until a man behind him clears his throat, obviously annoyed. Victor orders a latte. Surely there's a normal drink. When the drink is prepared, he sits down beside Yuri, glancing out of the window. In his peripheral vision, Yuri doesn't recognize him, just reacts to a figure taking a seat. Oh, sorry, but I'm actually saving Victor? It occurs to him briefly that Yuri is already calling him by his first name. Pinchot, on the other hand, had called him Mr. Nickafaro. He's never had particularly strong feelings about his own name, one way or the other. When Yuri says it, It seems to roll off his tongue in a way that Victor isn't used to. He likes it. Good morning, Victor greets, holding his latte in his both hands. The soft brown liquid is threatening to spill over the edges. A tiny bit of foam swirls in the middle. It's warm, but not agonizing warm. So he brings it to the lips and takes an experimental sip. Without meaning to, he scrunches up his nose at the unfamiliar taste. Yuri lets out a dry laugh. You don't like it? I'm not much of a coffee drinker, actually. There's an unspoken question on Yuri's lips, and it takes Victor a moment to realize that it's probably something along the lines of, then why are we at a coffee shop? He's glad the question isn't verbalized, though, because he's not sure what his answer would be. Victor takes a sip, tilts his head back and forth, trying to adjust. It's an acquired taste, Yuri points out. Then maybe I acquired it. Most writers drink coffee. Yuri sets the cup down. Have you met a lot of writers then? He's wearing a blue scarf, different from the one he wore yesterday, tucked over to cover his chin. The same black rimmed glasses. Loose jeans cover his legs, which are wrapped around the legs of the stool, and a charcoal sweater is tied against his torso. Victor, on the other hand, is wearing a white, long-sleeved, collared shirt tucked into a pair of black suit pants. He has a meeting later, and he has figured that he can kill two birds with one stone, by looking good for Yuri and for his meeting. He smooths his hands down his thighs, and then leans towards and takes another sip of the drink. The taste is already growing on him. No, but it's a stereotype, Yuri answers. That makes sense. Yuri is watching him, his gaze heavy. Victor meets his eyes, and he's surprised when Yuri doesn't look away, maintaining eye contact. Can I ask you something? I don't want this to come off as rude. Victor cocks his head to the side, signaling his approval. Why did you ask me to get coffee with you? I appreciate an intuitive mind, Victor answers with ease, because it's true. I thought we could discuss more. I enjoyed a brief discussion last night. Yuri licks his lips, then takes a sip of his own drink, which was whipped cream and a caramel spread across the top. So did I. Which of K.Y.'s novels have you read? He asked, conversationally. Wouldn't you rather talk about your own novels? Victor laughs, stirs the latte with a spoon. Why would I? Do you think I just invited you here to stroke my ego? For a second, Yuri looks scared, but then he seems to realize that is a joke. Tension leaving his shoulders, leans down and sips at his straw, readjusting it with 2 fingers when he doesn't seem to be getting the results he like. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't met many authors. Sorry, I don't mean to say. So a stereotypical author drinks coffee is arrogant. Yuri laughs, and it makes Victor pause. The sound so shocking stands out so much among the roar of the rest of the room, the buzz and chatter. I guess so, yeah. But why don't you? But you don't drink coffee, and you'd rather talk about K.Y. than yourself? For whatever reason, he feels defensive. He's talented. Victor shrugs one shoulder. I think he's a he. Of course, everyone has their theories. Why do you think that? Yuri asks, glancing around the shop. He appears to be self-conscious now. Victor makes a mental note to dwell on the potential reasoning later. The way that he writes, he answers. I could be wrong, but it just feels right. Yuri nods, slowly seeming to let the answer sink in. He seems to remember Victor's original question. I've read all their words, actually. There's a careful pronunciation on there. Have you read all of mine? Yes, he knows they're supposed to try and not be arrogant, but he can't help it. Um, yes, there's a flush again. Victor thinks it should be legal. I have. Next question doesn't need to be spoken. No, they both know what it is. Victor leans forward, a teasing smile on his lip, and his elbows on the table in front of him. The cafe is small, and they're tucked away in the corner of it. Wall-high windows are surrounding them, the sunlight shining in and accentuating the furniture and people with more shades of gold than Victor had thought possible. There are few individuals focused on their MacBooks. Earphones dug deep in their ears, and music so loud they're oblivious to the world that puzzles around them. Victor recognized the expressions, right as he thinks. I like your stuff better, Yuri admits, placing a hand on the table and examining his nails. Your plots are more creative. KY has better characters, better character development. You have more world building, better dialogue, debatable. Yuri states firmly, and there's no more signs of shyness anymore. And it reminds Victor of how he'd been the night before, when he had been talking about the beauty of spontaneity in regards to the blood. A shining to his eyes, Victor glances back and forth between each of his irises sees the way they're flaming, ready to argue. So Victor argues. You said you have read all of his stories, he prompts. Yuri nods. He shifts in his chair. Remember staying on my side? The scene in the alleyway? It wasn't a bad scene. Yuri begins, but Leo's movements shift in the scene in order to advance the plot. At first, he's driven fully by his love for Ellie, but then all of a sudden, he's doing out of fear. It's possible for a character to have more than one motivation. I know, but Liam was the way KY wrote him. He was supposed to have this air of confidence, and I didn't think that that didn't match being motivated by fear. I don't think. There's a pause as Victor waits for him to continue. It feels like Liam must have been based off somebody in KY's real life. He's a very dynamic character, but that part doesn't feel quite right. Victor pulls out his phone. Yuri Rocks is curious. He taps on the new contact button, slides the phone towards Yuri. Sadly, Yuri enters his information. Then Victor pulls out his notes app, types something. I'm going to reread that part and then get back to you. I need it fresh in my memory. I'll be waiting, aren't you? Don't you? I'll be waiting, aren't you? Don't you? Yuri starts a few times, then stops. What? You read all of KY's novels? Victor has. Several times. He nods. Normally, he wouldn't admit that fact to anyone. But Yuri seems trustworthy, and it isn't as though he's admitted to running a fan account praising his novels like would a deity. Yuri dips back down to his drink. Eyes swallowing the trail of caramel. He looks thoughtful, eyebrows drawn together. Why? He's a good author. No matter what pronouns you use, KY's a good author. There's no doubt about it. Well, aren't you? Yuri starts, rivals, enemies, nemesis, constantly striving to outdo each other. Ever since Victor has arrived on the writing scene with his debut novel years ago, KY has been there. He has always been an unstoppable force in Victor's life. They write parables, releasing books, and influencing each other without meaning to. It's true that they have never met, yet Victor feels like he knows him through his stories, the unique way that his minds work, the way he crafts worlds that often feel more real than the one that Victor lives in. Victor supposes it's like an unquestionable truth and constant presence. KY is KY, like cold is cold, like warmth is warmth, like the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, like hard science, relentless mathematics. All above, KY simply is. He's a good author, Victor repeats. In interviews, he has never praised the other author quite like this. He never shed hate on him before, no. But he always just avoided the topic. The fact that KY never says anything about him, never says anything publicly at all. It wouldn't feel right to talk about him. It's like there's a silent mutual pact between them. I'm sure he reads your stuff too, Yuri muses. Victor hums at the thought, glancing out the window. There's people shuffling past. Everybody appears to be busy in Detroit. Has a deadline, has some place to be. He likes the hustle of it. We also like the mellow feeling of St. Petersburg, which is also a large city, but feels calmer somehow. Perhaps it's a comfort thing. Do you think so? He asks, keeping his tone light. Yuri shrugs properly. It makes sense. If you think about it, you were the #1 best-selling author last year. Yuri seems to know his stuff. Victor realizes that most of his cough is gone now, and he considers the taste successfully acquired. KY was #1 author the year before that, and you were the year before that, and he was, and then I was, and then he was. Going off the pattern, you should be the #1 best-selling author this year. I heard he's already made a movie deal in place for History Maker, and that book hasn't even been released yet. I heard that too, but I heard that he wants to write the screenplay. There's something odd about the way that Yuri's speaking. Victor doesn't know him well, obviously, so at first he's just assumed it was the way he spoke. But now he's certain. He's holding something back, like doesn't really want to talk about this. But he is, anyway. The screenplay, huh? Why would you do that? He attached to the characters properly. You're very observant. All he receives in response to that is a half-hearted shrug. Isn't that what you asked me to have coffee with you? Or did you ask everybody who shows up late to your book signings out to coffee? Without missing a beat, Victor answers, only the cute ones. Last night, he hadn't got a good look at Yuri's blush, but now, the sunlight gleaming on him, he sees the beautiful nuances of it. It spreads to the tips of his ears, down his cheekbones. He bows his chin, beginning to chew on his bottom lips. A nervous habit, Victor supposes. He watches it carefully. The pearly white teeth, the unconscious movement, subtle yet detailed if one looks close enough. Yuri starts, then gives up quickly, fumbling with his hands in the lap, pad of his thumb brushing the knuckles of his index finger. Then he grabs for his drink, as though he's suddenly remembering that it's there, and takes a long sip. When he meets Victor's eyes again, he looks startled to see that he's watching him. You think that you're cute? Victor asks casually, cupping his letter in his hands and taking another sip. It's completely empty now, and he pushes the cup and plate away from him, focusing his full attention on Yuri. He leans his elbow on the table in front of them. Turns to on his side so his legs are facing him. His editor's common advice rings his ear. Body language is everything. I said, didn't I? Yuri nods, plays with his straws. He pulls it up, then plunges it to the thickest part of the caramel drink. His expression is thoughtful, as though he's letting that information settle. Thank you, then. That's it, just a thank you. He doesn't make it demanding, just curious, because he's curious. Curious about Yuri with his caramel-flavored drinks, an interesting expression and adorable blush. What do you want me to say? Yuri asks, genuine. Victor shrugs one shoulder. Well, from what I know about you so far, you seem very opinionated a person. In a good way. In a great way, actually. It's been a while since I've met someone with interesting opinions. And I thought you have an opinion on me kind of attractive. Isn't thanks to you implying my opinion? Flattered is your opinion then. You look so very flattered, he confirms. Fuck. I just finished my half pint, I think it's called. I'm going to get a drink. Oh, I filled it up again. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. Okay, back to reading. Victor's gaze darts back and forth between each of Yuri's eyes, trying to figure out what he's thinking, but doesn't push the subject. Would you want to do this again tomorrow, when I refresh my knowledge of stay by my side, and can have a proper debate with you on the alleyway scene? Change of topic seems to ease Yuri's tension. There's a soft smile that spreads across his feature, and it fills the room. Sets fire to the sun, makes Victor feel like he could move a mountain if we're given the time and hold the place. I would love to. You would? He asked stupidly, because obviously he would. Because he just said he would love to. But the smile is making Victor's knees weak. And making his breath catch. If only he could write a character like him. If only he could capture an essence like Yuri's with words. Could even meekly attempt to capture something that's alive. Yeah, Yuri just answers, and is laughing now. And that has Victor's head reeling. He has normally articulates mind and vocal cords at a loss for what to do next. Same place, same time. Victor clears his throat. Doesn't break eye contact with him. Because if his laugh and smile are beautiful, then his eyes are otherworldly. Must belong to the cosmos in themselves. Wait. I'm sorry. Idyllic. Yuri adds, and his smile turns slightly teasing again. A few minutes ago, Victor had been right there, in court with him, ready to tease back. But now he's just being held captive by a man who doesn't seem to realize that he's a captor in the first place, who doesn't seem to comprehend the effects that he's having. That's what an author would say, isn't it? Halcyon, Victor, how the fuck do you pronounce that? Halcyon, Victor says automatically, trusting his subconscious vocabulary or is his conscious mind any day. Splendid. Paradisal. Yuri laughs, sips his drink again. That's a little extreme for a date at a coffee shop, don't you think? Oh. It takes Yuri a second, and then a hand covering his mouth, as though in an attempt to stop himself from saying anything else. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I just meant, not in that way. We just met, not in that way. He fumbles to grip his straw, sipping a part of the cup that no longer had much liquid. Horror sizing up his posture. Have you ever heard of a Freudian slip? Victor teases. Yuri sputters on his drink. That wasn't. Then another look of recognition seemed to cross his features. Are you messing with me? Partially, Victor admits, but he did sort of walk into it. I did, Yuri agrees, then gives him another smile, eased. I'll see you tomorrow then. In and out, Victor coaches himself, because Yuri seems to have shut down his automatic functions. In and out, in and out. He's having coffee with Yuri again tomorrow. He, Victor Nikiforou, is having coffee with Yuri. Yuri? What's your last name? There's a brief hesitation, so brief that if Victor hadn't been watching him so carefully, he might have missed it. Katsuki. Yuri hums, letting that sink in. Yuri Katsuki. YK. That's ironic. Yuri laughs, but it's shorter than this time, less lively. Maybe that's why I'm a big fan of theirs. Maybe that's why I'm a fan of theirs. There's a silence, and it takes Victor a moment to realize that neither of them has stood up yet. He certainly doesn't want to, so he waits until Yuri grabs his cup, standing and taking one final sip, before tossing it to the nearest trash can. It was great to meet you, Yuri Katsuki, Victor tells him, liking the way that his full name feels on his tongue. He wants to see it written, he realizes, wants to write it down, see how it looks in cursive, in print, in Russian. And it was nice to meet you, Victor Nikiforou. Victor says his full name too. It makes his stomach twirl. This might sound weird, Yuri adds, as an afterthought. But it feels like we're already met, through your books, I guess. He can't explain why, but he certainly feels the same way about Yuri. There's something familiar about him, about the way he speaks. He shrugs it off, gives him his own bright smile, but he can't even compare to Yuri's. You met me before I made you home fair. I will see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Yuri promises. Victor walks away down the street towards his hotel, but looks over his shoulder before turning a corner. In the distance, he sees Yuri walk in the opposite direction. His friend from last night glued to his sides. Pin shit, Victor remembers. He chuckles at the sight, then shoves his hand in the pockets and continues to walk. There's a stride in his step. He has a Skype call with Mila later, and she notices. Of course she notices. You're awfully chipper, she points out, tapping her pen on the desk. It's an offbeat rhythm, the type of habit that would normally bother Victor if we're trying to focus. But now he can't seem to mind it at all. What happened? If you're being honest, he has been waiting for an excuse to bring up the topic. I met someone. Mila's Arsha eyes lit up. She leans closer to the camera. You did? No, you did? That expression falters. Oh, Victor, in Detroit? He knows inevitable that he'll have to leave Detroit eventually. That doesn't mean he won't visit again. That doesn't mean that this can't work out. Perhaps he's jumping to conclusion. Was yes. Oh shoot. They only grabbed coffee one time. But Yuri had been lovely, and Victor finds us already wanting to talk to him more, wanting to spend more time with him. If he could remain at that coffee shop all day, he would have. Yeah. But he doesn't want to be clingy, except to us. Yes, in Detroit, he answers. Who is he? He tells Mila everything, from his blue scarf to his eyes, which Victor is still trying to figure out how to describe. To his hair, to his laugh, she listens, internally, chiming in when necessary. At some point, though, Yuri busts her office door open and chooses to ruin the moment. Mila, I want who are you talking to? In a second, Yuri is behind the computer screen, staring at Victor. Mila ruffles his hair. Victor met someone in Detroit. Isn't that great? Yuri groans. Then he growls and Victor figures Mila must kicked him in the shin. He gives a fake smile. Good for you, I guess. Great for him, Mila corrects, wrapping an arm around Yuri's shoulders. He rolls his eyes, but doesn't move out of her grasp. And Victor smiles. Mila has essentially taken on Uriel as his little brother ever since come to work for Yakov. KY lives in Detroit, Yuri reminds him. You should go to Celestia's building while you're there. Find out who they are once and for all. This whole mysterious pseudonym thing is dumb. If you ask me, why hide if you could be famous? Because everybody wants to know who he is, Mila points out. It's smart. Garners attention and publicity. Victor shakes his head. No, that's not why he does it. They both look at him, confused. He sighs. KY they both look at him, confused. He sighs. KY isn't hiding who he is or who they are as a publicity stunt. They're just reserved. Probably the type of person who doesn't want fans pointing them out on the streets. How do you know that, Uriel asks. Just a feeling, Victor muses, grabbing another pillow from his left and popping his head off with it. He settles on the bed, getting more comfortable. I feel like I know him after all these years, don't you? Uriel snickers. I've never read Curry Rice book like you have, Nicky Farrell. You say it's just researching the competition? Yeah, no way. I think you got a crush on a person that you never even met. A crush on him? Victor scoffs. That's ridiculous. Despite his oral outward rejection of the concept, Victor nurtures it in his mind. A crush on KY's writing maybe, but a crush on KY himself? No, impossible. Victor could never fall in love with someone who he's never met. I reread the alley scene, Victor tells Hugo the following morning. He has a latte again. Uriel has the same caramel drink. Today, he's wearing a white sweater. The sleeves are cuffed, and the same sort of loose-fitting jeans. No scarf. Victor knows happily because that means he can have a better look on his face. And, he asks, I disagree with you about Liam's character. I see what you mean about him being based off a person of somebody in real life, but that's just it. Everyone has fears. Just because there's another side to his character doesn't make the scene forced. He was still in love early, and that love led to an underlying feeling of rejection. See, the love and the fear, they're intertwined. Perhaps he fell out of character to you because Liam himself felt out of character. You looked surprised, lips parting before closing them again. That makes sense. Victor can't help but feel proud. He breathes, sips his latte. Does it? Because when it comes down to it, all of Liam's strongest emotions revolves around Ellie, the only person he's ever felt strongly about. Exactly. Victor agrees. It's sweet, a love like that, don't you feel? KY expresses it himself. KY expresses it well. I wonder if he's in love himself. Yuri shrugs. Maybe, I don't know. I think he is. Yet, tracing his finger around the edge of the cup, Yuri watches the movement, and it makes Victor feel powerful. Capturing his intention out there makes him giddy with excitement. Or he must at least understand something akin to love. Adoration, maybe. What about you, Yuri blurts? Then he flushes tomato red, as though he's begun regretting the words the second they left his lips. No, sorry, I didn't mean, I just meant for your writing. Am I in love? Victor purses his lips, looking out of the window and leans his elbow on the table. He looks at Yuri, keeps his gaze unmistakable. I suppose it depends. Yuri looks surprised. Depends on what? Do you believe in love at first sight? He just laughs, avoiding eye contact with Victor, rejecting both physically and mentally. Oh, who? Did you? You saw someone and fell in love? That's, nice. A nervous tick picks up his drink and takes a long sip. Enchanting, Victor thinks. You could write about him for hours, craft prose and about every minuscule detail of his action, appearance. Who needs endless loop of the same 5 instrumental songs for inspiration when Yuri category exists? He's eloquent yet clumsy, confident yet shy, and integrating self-contraction conjecturation, perfection in the most imperfect way. I was flirting with you, Victor tells, purely to see how he reacts. He reacts, apparently, by choking on his coffee. RIP Yuri. R.E.P. Yuri. With me? Yes. On purpose? You seem like a type of person who would do that on an accident. To his surprise, Yuri doesn't look quite as flustered as he had before. Instead, he looks interested, as though he's trying to read something on Victor's face. Victor desperately wants him to see what he wants to see, but he's not exactly sure what that is. So he keeps his expression interested, but not too interested. You do actually. It's Victor's turn to be surprised. He tries to figure out what he means by that. Tries to come up with a witty response, but his mind fails him, leaving him awkwardly staring at Yuri, trying to compute what just happened. I do what? You do seem like the type of person who would flirt on accident, Yuri elaborates, as if to qualify the statement. He has a half-hearted shrug. Wait, what happened to the music? Oh, wait, it's back. Fixed it. Okay, back to reading. You do seem like the type of person who would flirt on accident, Yuri elaborates, as if to qualify the statement. He adds a half-hearted shrug. Qualifying is something that Victor is intimately familiar with. Yako has always told him that he can tell when Victor isn't passionate about a scene by constant qualification through every action and piece of dialogue. So he can read right through the visage. What do you mean? He asks. Yuri does the same shrug. You're very outgoing, I guess. And I could see how people, not me. This is just objective observation. You see that as too cautious. Too cautious? Victor repeats, in nuancing each syllable. Has everyone ever told you that you have an excellent vocabulary? I don't think so. Have you considered writing? No, not really. There's a pause. A knowing smile from the man sitting beside him. Something heavy in the air between them. Something heavy tied with words and drips of coffee, book towels and eye contact. Victor is living off of it, loving every second of it, because you can tell that Yuri is on the exact same page of the book as he is. They are in the exact same ballpark. Well, I like to confirm, for the record, that I never threw a review accidentally. Wait. Yuri nervously clenched jaw to betray his calm demeanor. You have purposely then. I must not have picked it up on it. So telling you that I may have fallen in love with you at first sight wasn't obvious? I mean, before and now, Yuri adds, and that's the qualification again. Victor smiles, leaning forward, calling you cute, asking you out for coffee. Oh, Yuri Katsuki, for someone who's an intellectual inclined yourself, I am experienced more of you. Of course I've been flirting. Oh, he simply says, sipping his drink. Oh? Just, as I hadn't realized. Then he falters. Not a bad oh, just oh. He takes another sip of his drink. There's a dollop of whipped cream on his cheek. Victor reaches out and swipes it with his thumb, then licks the digit, humming appreciatively. It's worth it the way that Yuri pupils go huge, like black holes threatening to swallow his irises whole. Do you believe in first sight, Yuri? He shakes his head, and when he speaks, it looks as if he's not even thinking about it, as though his thoughts are enwrapped completely by whatever he's trying to find in Victor's crystalline eyes. I believe in attraction at first sight. Have you experienced such attraction and hesitation? Then a nod. Often? Victor adds, because he can't help himself. A shake of his head. Heart is pounding, aching, but he needs Yuri to make the next move. Needs to know for sure that he's feeling the same way, that he's thinking the same thing. Luckily, Yuri speaks next, appeasing Victor's sudden worries. Will you still be in town tomorrow? Yes, Victor answers without hesitation. Yuri stands up. Same time, same place? Sounds like a date. It doesn't take long for you to realize what he's referencing. Then he's stammering, trying to find words to say to defend himself, but failing miserably. Ultimately, choosing to throw away his cup so that he has an excuse to cross the cafe. See you tomorrow, he decides on, and it makes Victor a little too joyful to say that even the tips of his ears are wet. See you, YK. YK, Yuri asks, holding the door open with one hand. Victor grins, slipping past him. It's their shoulders brushing. The touch is electric. It's a nickname, like KY. Get it? right, he says. But his smile has faded, doesn't look quite as genuine. In a flash, though, the look is replaced. He waves, "See you, BN." And that's chapter fucking 1, my dudes. An hour and a half it's taking me to read one fucking chapter of this. That's how long it is. Its total is 28,804 words. Scheiße, man. And my phone is already dying. I'm gonna be honest, my stomach feels kind of like shit right now. I don't know why. So, we are going to rate somebody. I know. Who the fuck can I rate? Filza or Dan to the M or someone small? As any of you, maybe? Wait, shouldn't I just read? Wait, okay. Ah, shoot. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm getting crowded. Just some things I had to do. But like I said, so everybody's still in chat. I'm going to send you over to who? Who do you think I should send you guys over to? Delta or the NTDM or somebody completely random? Do you guys have any suggestions? I'll be happy to see it. But for now, you know what? I think we're gonna rate Filza Minecraft, man. Old man Filza. Why am I doing this? Why am I like this? Oh god. Okay, screw it. Rating channel. Give me some seconds to do this. How long has he's actually been live though? Like, I know he started quite late actually. Let's just talk before the raid starts actually. And goodbye.